Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the Fake Spike Podcast. This year, Tyler, I'm Cole, and we're going to be your hosts for hopefully a long time.
What's up, guys?
Now, before we get this thing started, we wanted to say who we are, what our favorite team is, and how long we've been watching the NFL for. My name's Cole, or CJ, depends on the day of the week. Steelers fan. I know, horrible season, but anyway. I've been watching the NFL and playing football for about 15 years now.
I thought you retired after high school. What's up?
Stopped playing football about 7 years ago, but I was playing before I was watching, so
that's fair.
And T.
My name's Tyler. I am a basketball fan. Now, we'll call it watching off and on, mostly off. That's how we'll describe it since 2012. Or 2011, whenever Cole made me pick a team, and I picked the Saints. They had a cool logo. Saints are my team. Once I, make a decision, I kind of stick with it. Thankfully, I've been fairly lucky up until this season. The Saints are 2-4 this season, so not doing too hot. Tried out for the football team in high school. Wasn't going to happen. Played a lot of basketball. That's about it.
All right. Now, we want to talk about some things going on in the NFL right now. Like DeAndre Hopkins is coming back this week on Thursday Night Football. And the last two Thursday night games have been absolutely horrible. Thankfully, I work Saturday or Thursday nights and haven't watched either one of them. Have you caught any of those two games?
No, I'm generally pretty busy on Thursdays, so I just kind of keep an eye on my phone. I'm definitely going to have to sit down and watch it this Thursday if I can. Oh, it's on Prime. I have Prime. I'm going to sit down and watch it this Thursday because the Saints.
There you go. But yeah, the last two Thursday night games have been horrible. One was 12-7, and the one before that was 12-9. So with the Cardinals and the Saints, D-Hop back, and the Cardinals traded for Robbie Anderson today. Tyler, do you know who Robbie Anderson is?
Cole, I'm going to say no. The Cardinals traded for him, so I'm not too worried about him because it doesn't involve the Saints.
Well, he just did leave your division. He was a wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers.
Okay. Christian McCaffrey, what's up?
Tyler plays fantasy, so he knows a few key names.
Fantasy is the reason I got back into watching football, actually. This is probably the season that I've been most consistent watching it.
Definitely has been. But yeah. So I think the game on Thursday is going to be a pretty damn good game, especially compared to the last two. I think D-Hop's probably going to come out and get a touchdown in his first game. And hopefully Alvin Kamara looks pretty good. He has been so far. Well,
I don't know what's gotten into him. I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't know what's gotten into him. He's shown up the last 2 weeks, thankfully. Thank God, because I was struggling for a little bit. What's that?
Sorry to cut you off. Maybe it's because Jameis isn't there.
Yeah, but that breaks the heart a little bit. Well, somebody's got to pick up the scoring load. I can't. It's something with his back. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I know
he had 2 fractures in his back.
Yeah, he should actually just be done playing football if his back's that bad.
For at least a few weeks, he probably needs surgery. But
yeah.
I am no doctor, so I have no idea.
I'm a doctor of thugonomics.
You're a doctor of thugonomics. Okay. In that case, you should probably be a Patriots fan, John Cena.
Hey, all right.
All right. And let's see here.
Let's talk about a couple of the games that happened this week. First off, the Steelers. We'll touch base on your team a little bit first. Steelers beat the Bucks
miraculously.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that happened. The Bucks going into the game 3-2, the Steelers 1-4.
Steelers were also missing our number one safety and our 3 top corners. I
heard that.
That's just, I don't know, man. Like, the team willed itself to win, especially with Kenny Pickett going out in the third quarter with a concussion.
It was cutting it close to it was 20-18 in favor of the Steelers. I thought one of my buddies at work is a Steelers fan, ironically enough. He was telling me that a lot of their defensive pieces were missing and just not where they needed to be. And somehow you guys beat Tom Brady. who with deflated balls is one of the best players to ever touch the game of football.
Oh Jesus. No. Interesting enough, I don't think Tom Brady was too worried about the Steelers at all because Saturday night he was at Robert Kraft's wedding. Robert Kraft being the owner of the New England Patriots. I'm saying that for Tyler, not the audience.
Okay, yeah, I definitely would have known that.
Yeah, so that's pretty funny. He was like, instead of going to the walkthrough with my team, I'm going to go to the old owner's wedding.
Yeah, that is kind of strange, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, worked out in the Steelers' favor, I guess.
That is true. The next one I want to talk about, since we talked about the Steelers a little bit, is the Saints game. We should have beat the Bengals. I am wildly upset about that. We went in 20-14 in the first half, and then we just got shit on in the second half. It broke my back. Not my back, my heart. Jesus Christ. Broke my heart. It broke my heart quite a bit. Kind of really sucked, but it is what it is. Another good matchup. Eagles 5-0, Cowboys 4-1. What do you think about that one?
They 6-0.
Now they are going into the game. I mean, I apologize. Should have.
Yeah.
Words.
I think the Eagles defense finally gave Cooper Rush something he couldn't handle, and the Cowboys are lucky enough to get Dak back next week.
Is that a good thing though?
I think, Dak's better than Cooper Rush. I don't care what anybody says.
But from what I'm seeing, Cooper Rush has been, I mean, at least in his, because he's only started 6 games in his career, and 4 or 5 of them have been this season or something like that. So, like, talking about it like that, you got to think this kid's doing like pretty good as a starter for the first time, and for like the first real time in his life. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, from what I've heard and what I've seen, he's been kind of a check down Charlie, just 2 yards past the line of scrimmage and letting them run with it. But
so I'm gonna make a basketball reference because that's what I do. Okay.
That's what you do.
You know the San Antonio Spurs, right?
What about them?
If you watch the game, you are going to fall asleep. Boring, but they have 5 championships between 1998 and 2000 and now. Boring basketball wins championships. So boring football clearly wins games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll see, man. Look, the Eagles are one of the best teams in the league this year. And so who knows, maybe that loss isn't entirely on just Cooper Rush. It's definitely not all on Cooper Rush. But I think Dak would have given them a better chance to win. I don't know if he's going to make that total difference to a point where they could beat the Eagles.
Right.
Speaking of the Eagles, though, one thing I'm really concerned about for them, they score almost all of their points in the second quarter. The other 3 quarters are like, don't worry about it. It's all just the second quarter.
I just went and looked. So I didn't think about that. But when I was going through the games on my phone, I saw that they scored 20 points in the second quarter. And I do remember, because now, I have YouTube TV, Cole has YouTube TV. So we kind of watch the same games. The Eagles are on every week.
Well, we do live in the
Pennsylvania, right?
Area. Well, we live above Philly, but
I was just gonna say Pennsylvania and leave it at that.
We don't live on the Pittsburgh side. We live on the other side.
Right. So we get the Eagles games all the time. So I watch a lot of Eagles games because I have fantasy players on the Eagles. He has fantasy players on the Eagles. And I like, that occurred to me that they really do, like, as I was looking through the games, that they really just score a lot in the first half and, kind of take a nap in the second half. Maybe not take a nap, but you get the idea.
And they definitely slow down in the second half. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's
young legs
or if it's just them saying, let's just ride it out and play it safe. I don't know what it is.
Young legs. When you're young, you put all your energy into those first couple plays, and then you're fucking trying to recover for the next whatever. So they probably just put all their energy into the first half and then need to, take it slow. Though granted, football games are like freakishly long and the breaks are quite long.
And the Eagles have a bye this week, and then next week, well, this coming week they have the bye, and after that they play the Steelers at home. So
yeah, I'm in a tough spot fantasy wise this week. I got Trevor Lawrence to save me, but that's about it.
Yeah, I got Dak, and that's about it. Got
Oh,
Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen on bye. So
at least
anyway,
you're getting screwed.
yeah. Anyway, what were we saying? Eagles come back from that bye, and then they have the Steelers at home. Pittsburgh does horrendous in Philadelphia for some reason. So you can't say it's a long trip. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be 7-0, and they don't really have that rough of a schedule. So I'm worried about them finishing like 15 and
13-3, 13-4. Yeah, words are hard. My bad, buddy. You think 15-2?
I think they could. I mean, I don't know if they're even going to lose 2 games, if I'm being honest.
Everybody loses. They're gonna have to lose a game at some point, buddy. And then it's gonna rattle them. They're gonna, you know how it works. Life is all the same.
Yeah, we'll see, man. But I do think that that's eventually going to catch up with them scoring all their points in the second quarter. But
Fair enough.
speaking of Josh Allen and the Bills, did you catch any of that Bills and Chiefs game?
I watched a little bit of it, but then the woman had me cook dinner, so kind of a tough spot.
She's a pain in the butt, ain't she?
I had to bake the salmon, man, and cook the noodles and do all that fun stuff.
She's gonna look like a fish anyway. I do have NFL Plus, and I sent you the link so you can watch that game.
Yes, I have the app on my phone. I haven't signed in yet.
Okay. The business that is the Fake Spike podcast purchased the NFL Plus. So
I did have one. I just thought of one thing. So I have my little flow chart here for those not watch. For those that can't see my desk.
Which is everybody but you.
Right. So after we touch base on this recap, we're going to go into predictions. But I have, as I'm looking at the standings for the NFL, I have one thing I want to ask you about. So we have a lot of great teams in the league right now. Eagles are 6-0, obviously. But there are 1, 2, 3 teams that are 5-1. A lot of them fall to 500. Maybe 2 and 4. There's I believe there's a 1-3-1 team. That's the Texans. A 1-4 team. There's definitely a lot of shitty teams, but there are 3 teams that fall 5-1: Buffalo Bills, the New York Giants, and then the Minnesota Vikings. So that's 3. In your opinion, as a football fan, best and worst, like rank them 1, 2, 3: Vikings, Giants, and the Bills.
The Bills are definitely number 1. Josh Allen is scary good. Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs are 2 of the best wide receivers I've seen together this year. Not all time, this year. They're really good together. Gabe Davis had an injury a few weeks ago, and he didn't look too great. But week 1 looked amazing, and these past 2 weeks he's looked amazing.
So I'm hearing that I'm sorry, I got to toss a little thing in there. I'm hearing that people are saying like the Giants are the worst 5-1 team in history. What's the deal with that?
The Giants, yeah, I'd put the Giants 3 in the list. Saquon Barkley is an absolutely amazing back, but their wide receivers, like the rookie's pretty good. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's looked good so far. Daniel Jones has looked good this season, but throughout the rest of his career, he's looked horrible. And that offensive line is very middle of the pack. Defense is doing pretty good, winning them some games. But yeah, that offense isn't much to speak about other than the rookie and Saquon.
So I'm looking over their schedule. And I doubt it's a schedule thing. Like it's not people are saying they're the worst 5-1 because they have the easiest schedule. Because their first game, Tennessee Titans 3-2. The Panthers, who are, admittedly pretty fucking bad this year.
Yeah.
The Cowboys was their 1 loss. They beat the Bears 20-12. They beat the Packers 27-22. They beat the Ravens 20-24, 24-20. So I don't think it's a scheduling thing. Like they don't have the easiest schedule in the league because if you consider that to be the case, then they would have played like the Texans, or even Raiders, the Commanders, something like that for the easy schedule. So what is
The Bears are also awful. Don't let that 2-4 record fool you. They're horrible. Justin Fields has looked pretty bad himself. But yeah, when it comes to the Giants, I don't think it's a schedule thing. I think a lot of it has to do with coaching. That new head coach they got over there. It's just a world difference between him and Joe Judge, which was the head coach last year.
What is the reason they're 5-1 if they're as bad as people think they are?
Like I said, I think it's coaching, man. I think he's just willing them to victories.
A coach can do this sometimes. Sometimes, a lot of the time, you can have a coach with a bunch of average players who'll do better than a shitty coach with a bunch of phenomenal players.
Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before that, they were playing the Packers in London, and at one point, I think they were down 17-0, or they were down 17 points, something like that.
I think I was watching that game somewhere.
And I worked night shift. That game was a little early for me.
Fair enough. Well, that was, you said not last week, the week before. So the Packers. I want to say I was watching that game.
Yeah, it was on at like 9:30 in the morning. That sounds like a Tyler game.
That is fair. You guys will find out very, very shortly that I am definitely a morning bird or early bird, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I used to be before I started working this shift.
Dude, I tried the early or the late night thing a couple times at retail jobs, and then I got a job where I had to be in the door at 3:30 in the morning. And since then, I've been like this my whole life. But since that job, I had to be an hour away at 3:30 in the morning. We wouldn't get out till 7 o'clock at night. That shit sucked. Money was good. This is like 2017 when $15 an hour meant something.
Back in the day. Yeah. Did you catch any of the Jets Packers game this week?
No, buddy.
No.
I was just explaining this to Cole. I was freakishly busy this last week. Normally, my whole Sunday is spent football, and then I'll be watching this Thursday for the Saints. But normally, I just catch whatever's on Sunday. We went to my girl's grandparents' house actually, and her uncles are giant football fans. It was her grandfather's birthday. And
are they Giants fans, or are they just
Raiders fans?
Okay.
One dude is large. He's like 6'6", 320. He's a big dude. I never felt demoralized by meeting a girl's family. Normally, I'm just like, the biggest guy there. But this guy kind of like looks down on me a little bit. But we sat in the living room the whole time watching football. Everybody else did the birthday thing.
Right. Looking at last week's scores, I want to bring something up to you.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I've seen it on Instagram. The Vikings and Dolphins game. Dolphins have a huge advantage at their stadium because the home sideline has a thing that hangs over it. And it
was like 30 degrees cooler on the home side, wasn't it?
Yep. The away sideline does not have that. The Viking sideline at one point was 120 degrees, whereas the Dolphin sideline was 90 degrees.
You're gonna give I thought it was. I guessed at 30. I knew it was 20 plus, but I guessed at 30. You're gonna give the team heat stroke, dude. What the fuck?
Bro, Miami's trying to kill some people, man.
And they still lost.
I don't know how the hell that thing got up to 120 degrees. I
have no clue.
Like 2 thermometers. But yeah.
They're 3-3, and they did win their first 2 home games, admittedly. So I guess it's working, but the Vikings they're Vikings, they're Vikings.
They're Vikings. No, the Vikings have a really good team. I'd rank them above the Giants, but below the Bills when it comes to that 5-1.
We got Bills, Vikings, Giants. Got it. I forgot we were talking about that.
Yeah, right. I didn't catch much of the Cardinals Seahawks game.
Were there any other games that stood out? I think that's how we should probably do the recap part. Any other games that stood out to you? Talk about the Steelers, talk about the Saints.
We talked about the Eagles Cowboys game. We talked about the Bills and Chiefs a little bit, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. Josh Allen is amazing. Guy's freaking huge too. I looked At one point, the camera showed him standing next to somebody, and I had to Google how tall he was. He's 6'5".
Well, quarterbacks and tight ends generally are the tallest people on the court, right? And the center
On the court.
on the field, and the center, I guess, could be a massive dude too.
And all linemen are massive, dude. But yeah, the Bills look really good. The Chiefs look really good. Those two teams look like they're heading straight towards the AFC Championship to beat the shit out of each other.
All right, so now we're gonna hop into predictions. I got them written down on my sticky notes here. So I'm gonna read them off. Cole, give me your predictions. I'll give you mine after yours.
All right, we do not have the Vegas lines yet, so I'm not going to be playing with those. We're just going off who's going to win, who's going to lose.
Right, Saints, Cardinals.
Give me the Cardinals.
I have to take the Saints as a Saints fan. That's just how it's gonna be. Browns, Ravens.
Browns, Ravens. Give me the Ravens. Deshaun Watson's still not back yet. Browns haven't looked that great in the past couple weeks.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm taking the Ravens as well. Next, we got the Bucks, Panthers.
Tom Brady's going to be pissed losing to the Steelers, and he's going to murder some Panthers.
I have to say the Bucks. The Panthers are just doing way too bad this season, and I want them to do better. You know, Christian McCaffrey and all that, but this was not happening. Colts, Titans, actually one of the closer games. 3-2-1 for the Colts and 3-2 for the Titans.
Give me the Titans. I think Derrick Henry is going to run some people over, and that defense is going to help them win.
I'm going to go Colts, I think. It's a tough call, but there are quite a few injuries on the Colts. Now that I'm looking at it. Blackman, Brown, Taylor, Pay, Hines. You know what? I changed my answer. I have to go Titans. I just looked at the injury list, and that is not looking too hot. Next, we have the Falcons, Bengals.
Give me the Bengals. I think the Falcons are going to be a little high after winning their game last week against the 49ers. And Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon. It's just a deadly offense.
Tight end is out for one of the tight ends is out for the Falcons. I'm going to go Bengals. Just kind of based off that. Giants, Jags.
Oh.
What are you
oohing? I like the Jags, but the Giants are doing too good to bet against them. It's scary to bet against them. I'm going
Giants on the Greg Popovich vote there, buddy. Great coach. Lions, Cowboys. This is another easy one, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to say the Lions, but I just can't. I think the Cowboys are going to run them over.
I'm on board with that, actually. Packers, Commanders.
Packers, the Commanders, especially with Carson Wentz going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. By the way, I forgot to mention that. He has a fractured finger, going to be out a while. Give me the what the hell are they playing?
The Packers versus the Commanders. The Washington Redskins, Cole. The Washington Redskins. So just because I want to shoot for the underdog, I'm going to say the Commander. They just won last week, so maybe they're on a high and they're rolling.
Right,
probably not.
The 7 Thursday night game, they're on a high from that.
12 points is a lot. Jets, Broncos.
Jets, Broncos. Give me the Jets. They've been doing really good since Zach Wilson came back. I like that young corner there, Sauce, and it's just a gut feeling on that one.
I'm going Jets as well. The Broncos have an extensive injury list.
Yeah, they do.
A giant one. So I'm going to go Jets as well. Next, we got the Texans versus the Raiders. Battle of the bottom is what I'll call this one. Not a lot of injuries on this, though.
It really depends on if Devontae Adams gets suspended for a game. I'm going to lean with the Raiders right now. I think they'll finally figure out a way to get another win.
I'm going to go. So both these teams are pretty bad, like very, very bad. But I'm going to actually go with I'm going to say the Texans just because they're 13th in the league for points allowed per game. So I'm going to roll with that. Like their defense seems to be pretty good. It's clearly top 50% just by, math. Chiefs, 49ers.
Chiefs, 49ers.
Chiefs have a couple injuries. Nothing too crazy.
The Chiefs lost to the Bills. The 49ers lost to the Falcons. Both teams are going to be a little pissed off. 49ers have a really good defense, but I'm not sure if they can stop Mahomes, Kelsey, and Andy Reid leading the charge there. So I'm going to go with Chiefs.
I'm going to go with Chiefs too because they are the leader in points per game in the NFL. I'm a stats person.
I think 49ers are giving up the least amount of points though.
I'm still gonna roll with the Chiefs.
All right.
Next we got Seahawks Chargers.
We're recording this before the Monday night game. So if anything happens to Justin Herbert or something, answer's going to be different. But right now I'm going with the Chargers.
I am going to go with Chargers based off the injury list for the Seahawks. Because that is 8 guys are injured from the Seahawks.
Right.
Next, we got the Steelers Dolphins. Are your boys riding the wave?
Oh, man, I don't know. Kenny Pickett had that concussion on Sunday. He's probably going to miss this game, which means we're going to be starting Trubisky. It's a night game in Miami. Teams usually don't do too hot when they go to Miami because the players are more. No. It's a night game. It's a night game, buddy. I know. Players are
Miami.
Yeah, players are a little preoccupied with certain kinds of clubs and stuff like that in Miami. So
Will Smith wrote a whole song about it, guys.
I think I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins, especially with Tua coming back.
I'm going to rock Dolphins too, just because the Steelers are doing horrible this year. That's about it. Bears Patriots.
Bears Patriots.
By the way, we have 3 minutes and 6 seconds left, so we got to roll.
Okay, this is no contest. Sorry, Bears fans. I think the Patriots are going to kick their ass with Bailey Zappi.
I'm going Patriots as well. Now, with that said, there are 4 teams on the bye: Eagles, Bills, Vikings. Eagles, Bills, Vikings, Rams.
There you go.
Woo! But that is our predictions for next week. I will write those down when I go to edit this so I can actually see who held true for next week when we do our recap.
Right. I think we agreed on most of those games.
We did. But we'll see what happens. So
all right.
You can outro, buddy.
I can outro. All right. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the show and enjoy the podcast. Anyway, if you check down below or in the description of the podcast, I'm sure Mr. Tyler here will link all of our social medias.
Mr. Producer.
So, hopefully you guys did enjoy. So peace out.
Peace out.